tell us how things are in Kharkiv this morning.
Well, the Russia attacks heavily Kharkiv for the last several days, and it's probably connected with this new new aggressive offensive in Donbass, because over there it's called the Battle for Donbass that has begun yesterday, and one of the routes for Russian troops there comes through Kharkiv, which is to the north of Donbass. So that means that Russian troops are constantly shelling residential areas and the city center of Kharkiv to prevent Ukrainian armed forces to move to Donbass to defend Ukrainian territories there and to keep them busy all over Kharkiv. And Kharkiv is a second largest city in Ukraine. And that means that probably Russian troops will not target and will not try to capture the city, but at the same time, they will continue bombarding and shelling the territory to prevent Ukrainian armed forces of counter-attacking Russian troops on the ground near Kharkiv and in Donbass.
And are you aware of, have you seen evidence of civilian casualties? This bombing, you say, is targeting residential areas.
Yes, every day we have new casualties among civilians. The numbers differ, but generally it would be more than 10 people killed every day because of the shellings. And if previously Russian troops were shelling the residential areas on the outskirts of Kharkiv, where almost no one lives at the moment because people were evacuated from that areas. So now they are shelling the city center. And for example, the humanitarian aid center was hit a day ago, and people died there, people who were actually providing humanitarian help to those who are in need. And this is done deliberately. So Russia is now deliberately targeting mainly residential areas and civilians, because military personnel, they are on their positions fighting. And that's civilians whom Russian troops want to target now.
And how safe do you feel, Maria, staying there? You've been reporting on Russian war crimes. You're playing your part in recording what's happened. Are you worried about your own safety staying in Kharkiv?
Well, no one is safe in Kharkiv, but then on the other territory of Ukraine, you cannot be safe. I don't know if you have heard this awful story about a boy that was evacuated from Kharkiv to Lviv. So his mother took him to Lviv, and yesterday, because of the rocket strike on Lviv, which is in the western Ukraine, this boy was injured. So they were trying to flee his home city, but then Russian troops wounded him in Lviv, where they were staying to stay in the safety. So that means that nowhere in Ukraine people can feel safe, because if in Kharkiv, in eastern Ukraine, Russia is using rocket system and artillery, on the other territories of Ukraine, that will be ballistic missiles and rocket hits from the territory, from the sea, from the Russian warships that are stationed on the Black Sea. And that's why Ukraine is asking for more help. And Boris Johnson has yesterday announced that the new weapons will come to Ukraine. And that's why people in Ukraine really appreciate that, and are waiting for this help to arrive, so that it will allow Ukrainian defenders to use it and to protect civilians.
And we've said that you're there documenting Russian war crimes. How overwhelming, how solid is the evidence of war crimes committed by Russians in Kharkiv?
What war crimes is that, if to put it simply, it's when military is fighting not against military, but they are fighting against civilians and using forbidden weapons. It's exactly what is happening in Kharkiv. Russian troops are using cluster munition, and I myself have witnessed that. And even near the place where I live, I have seen these shells of cluster munition and the marks of their usage all over the place. Then targeting hospitals and schools and nursery schools. Also the same, it happens in Kharkiv constantly, targeting humanitarian aid centers, which happened just yesterday. So basically we have a lot of evidences of Russian war crimes committed not only in Kharkiv, but throughout Ukraine. And that's why we also need more international help in documenting this, because people in the war zone apparently cannot do that in proper legal way, and we have to collect them legally, so that the court, which will be held later after the war, will put these people who were responsible for giving orders and for fulfilling criminal orders in charge, and they will be prosecuted for what they have done.
Maria, thank you so much for speaking to us today. Take care of yourself.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
That is Maria Avdeeva, Research Director at the think tank, the European Expert Association.